Lights, camera, action!
It's Monday. I had to take the day off. And not even because, like, I had a wild weekend or anything like that. That wasn't the case. I did go out Saturday. That was kind of like impromptu because my plan was not to go out at all this weekend. Like, I was gonna stay in, gonna write, not gonna go out, not spend any money. But, I work from home and I was talking with my buddy Brian, who's also a writer who works from home. And he was just like, man, when you work from home and, you're just kind of by yourself all day, all the time, you eventually want to go out and like be around other people and gonna want to socialize and everything. So I did go out Saturday night, and because I'm older and it takes time to recover, yesterday was very much a slow day for me. Like I was in recovery yesterday, but because I'd gone out Saturday night, like I didn't spend the entire day like out drinking or whatever. I went that night and didn't like overdo it. So yesterday wasn't too bad. However, my upstairs neighbor and her new boyfriend were just upstairs stomping and thumping and bumping all fucking day and night. And so, I really just couldn't get any rest. Tried to get some pages in yesterday, but it was kind of impossible. A large part of me thinks that she did that because last week, I had to talk to her about the noise coming from upstairs. For those of you who don't know or probably, behind or whatever, this is my second problem upstairs neighbor. The first one had a dog. She brought the dog into the building even though this is not like a pet friendly building. Like it's in our lease. Like there's supposed to be no animals in the building. And she got the dog like right as I moved in. so so from the beginning that was an issue because the dog was pretty big. She was playing like fetch or whatever with the dog in the apartment. After a couple of months, I was like, I'm sick of it. Like, I tried to be cool about this, but whatever. So I told the landlord there was whatever, and she ended up moving out. Thank God. Funnily enough, I found out that she was at the writers meetup that I went to a couple of months ago and was there like talking shit about me. And she also contacted like one of the neighbors that still lives in this building. It was like trying to spread rumors about me. And that neighbor was just like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like you're gone. You've been gone for like a year now. Like live your life and stop thinking about Jay. So she moved out and a new person moved in. And I'm gonna say this, she moved in, very nice, very cool. She introduces herself like first day and she straight up tells me two things. She straight up tells me she's just like, she knows what it's like to live underneath someone, and so she's gonna try, her best to keep it down. She's gonna buy, rugs and everything, but she's clumsy. And even when she said it then, I remember just laughing it off. I'm just like, okay, it's all right, it's fine. But then she also mentioned that the guy that lives underneath her boyfriend is always banging on the ceiling because he says they're too loud. I'm like, well, sure it can't be that bad, and I'm not the type to bang on the ceiling. Whatever. So her boyfriend at the time, super big dude, whenever he would come over, it would be loud. Just like the stomping through the apartment. And it's just like I knew, he's a big dude. He's like 6'4", 200 and however many pounds. Like he's a, sizable guy. But always very nice, And, you know, I had to tell them a couple of times, I'm like, look, you know, you guys are always apologetic. But the big thing was that every day or every other day, it sounded like something would just like fall and hit the floor. And I don't mean something small like a TV remote or, you know, your phone or whatever. Like it would sound like a human being would like trip and like fall full body on the floor. And sometimes it'd be here like in the living room, sometimes it'd be like, you know, over the bedroom, the kitchen, the bathroom, all over the apartment. And I'm just like, how is this happening every fucking day? And I remember her saying, yeah, you know, I'm clumsy. You can't be that clumsy. You just can't. You can't be dropping something heavy every day. Like, what's going on with you? And, you know, I ask her about it, and she's like, I don't know what it is. You know, maybe it's like when I get up from the chair or like whatever. And I mean, maybe that is it. But fam, it's crazy to me. Like if that's what's going on, like when you get up from the chair, like well, I don't even understand that. Like, are you picking the chair up as you stand up and then just letting it fall to the ground? The fuck is going on? So anyway, I went up there last week because you know it was early in the morning. That loud kind of like thud. I just go upstairs and I'm just like, look. But you know, this time, you know, talking to her, she's very dismissive, very cavalier, you know, just like, things fall on the floor all the time. You know, it's community living, communal living. I'm just like, I expect some sort of like noise in an apartment building. What I don't expect is daily thudding and stomping. Like, what the fuck is going on up here? Like, you know, you. And then she was also, you know, she also was just like, you know, I pay rent to live here. Yeah, asshole, I pay rent to live here too. And I expect like a modicum of peace when I'm at home. Like, again, work from home, here all fucking day. This is my sanctuary. I gotta have some peace, right? She's like, oh, this is why, you know, I try to leave sometimes during the day, and this is why I don't really have company because I'm just like, look, I just need you to be mindful about what you're doing. Please live your life, do what you do. But if you know that maybe getting up from your chair is what causes whatever noise that causes me to come up and talk to you, then be mindful about that when you're getting up from your fucking chair. Does that make sense? And then she pulled this out, and I knew this was going to happen. She's like, well, you know, I can hear you down there. I can hear you snore. And I'm like, yeah, I do snore. And when she moved in, that was something that I said. That was something that I said to the previous, you know, woman with the dog. And that's the thing is because I'm like, look, I snore. You might hear it. I do apologize. And that's the thing that the previous neighbor pulled, you know, when we were talking like her dog, she's like, well, you know, you're not so quiet down there, you snore. And my thing with that is like, it's a bodily function that I cannot help. At least she acknowledged that. She's just like, I know you can't do anything about the snoring. She's just like, yeah, that's right. But you can do something about the shit hitting the floor on a daily basis. Like if it happened like every once in a while, all right, fine. You're clumsy. Every fucking day? Like what is wrong with you that you can't grasp items, you know, and not let them slip or not let them fall off the furniture or whatever's going on up there. I don't know. So fine. I talked to her about this last week. And then, like I said, yesterday, you know, she brings over the new boyfriend. She broke up with the 6'4" guy. She's got a new one. I haven't met this dude, but he's already a weirdo in my mind because of something else that happened. But he comes over yesterday, like yesterday afternoon, and they're just all fucking day and all fucking night, just stomping around up there, stomping. Oh, I really didn't get too much rest yesterday. Didn't get anything accomplished yesterday. I was like, let me just call out of work today. Let me try to get some writing done today. Let me get some pages in. See if I can get like a little rest. And since I've taken the day, I might actually go to the movies. Didn't go to the movies this weekend, so I might do it today. So I'll just tell y'all real quick the weird thing that the new boyfriend, or whatever. It's just funny. This is how I knew she broke up with the big dude. I'm here at work, like whatever. And I just see somebody just kind of like running around like in my front yard. Now, the way my apartment is set up, like my front door like goes straight out to like the front yard, the sidewalk, like whatever. Everybody else in the building, they have to go through like a gated entrance or whatever, but I got the front door, so front door, front yard. Not that that's my domain, but whatever happens out there affects me kind of like, I can see it like whatever. And we've got like a little bullshit ass fence around the yard. So for someone to like be running around in the grass out there, they have to have like, hopped over the fence. So I see this guy in the yard, like running around. He's got like a bouquet of flowers. I was like, what is going on here? So I go to the front door and I'm just like, can I help you? He's like, oh yeah. My best friend went out on a date with your upstairs neighbor and he wanted me to deliver these flowers to her. So I was just going to throw rocks and sticks at her window to get her attention and see if she can come down and get this bouquet. And I was just like, okay. I was like, in my mind, I'm just like, it's kind of odd that maybe your best friend wouldn't just give you her number or whatever so that you could call her and say, hey, I'm downstairs, so-and-so wanted me to give you these flowers. I was just like, hey, all right, well, do what you do. And that's what he did. Like, he literally, like, stood out in the yard, threw sticks and rocks. She was like, oh, hi, I'm gonna come down. And she went down and got the flowers. So that's how I knew that she broke up with the big dude. What I was kind of tripping off of was the last time I'd seen Big Dude was probably like, I want to say like 2 weeks before that. And, hey, I don't know their business, so I wouldn't have known that anything was wrong. But, he was the boyfriend, that had like the code to the gate. So he would always just like come through and he was here all the time. Like, I don't know what he does for a living, if anything. He seemingly doesn't have a day job, didn't have a day job. She told me that she's a student of some sort, but she never seems to like go to class. And she also like doesn't have a day job that she goes to. Like she's pretty much here all the time unless she, I don't know, leaves to maybe go work out or hang out with friends or whatever, but she's in the apartment enough. Like she does not go anywhere like me. So when she was dating the big dude, like I just say all that to say, when she was dating Big Dude, he was here all the time. She gave him the code, so he would just, he had access to the building. And it was probably like the last time I saw him, it was maybe like 2 weeks before the flower thing. So my immediate thought was like, damn, she moves fast. And hey, you break up and 2 weeks later you want to start dating again. That's cool. But I mean, seems like she's been with this dude since then. And I'm just like, God damn. You were single for 2 weeks and then you found someone new and now, hey, I can't hate on anybody that's getting some action, so. All right, well, I think she is gone. I can usually hear when she comes and goes. I'm going to try to at least get some writing done, get a few pages in while it's nice and quiet. That is what I would consider normal walking back and forth in your apartment. Like, is this an older building? Sure. Will the floor creak or whatever? Sure. But that's normal walking. That's not stomping through the fucking apartment. So she's capable of it, but she's being an asshole and not doing it all the time.
starts as my snipers hit their marks and your guards fall down from a rifle to the heart like clap, clap. Let them fall slow. I know you had your fears, you could let them all go. And most women are motivated, so I act accordingly. But this is so refreshing that it means a little more to me. Dedicating time when I really can't afford to be. I'll provide protection if you open up the door for me. Couple stares, couple texts, couple dates, couple I think that we're ready, couple I think we should wait. Are we acting like a couple? I'm just trying to get it straight. Cause I'm over here convinced that it's too early for mistakes. And then
you had to change up the game. Oh, the weather is not the same. Now there's only cloudy days. I can't stand the rain in July.
All right, so it just did something. Look, y'all pray for me. So it's the first of the month, and I had my rent check, ready. I hadn't deposited the check into the little box that we have to, so that they can pick it up and whatever. So whatever, I'm sitting here, I'm writing. My property manager, I see him outside. He puts up a sign, advertising one of the units in the building as being open, for rent. Yeah, one of the other tenants moved out a couple of weeks ago. Cool. They also live on a lower level, but their unit is in the middle of the building. The people that do live upstairs, I know them. I hope that, they wouldn't be stompers or whatever. They seem fine. So I just straight up asked my property manager. I was just like, yo, do you think the landlord would let me switch units? He was like, hey, you never know. He was just like, ask him. So I wrote a note and left it with my rent check. And he's going to deliver the rent check to my landlord. I'm also just going to write my landlord an email and just be like, hey, look, I already sent you a note about this, but, I just want to cover all my bases here and see if this is possible. Because if it's possible for me to move, I'll just do it and pray that that works out. The only thing is that, the other unit is slightly more expensive, just fine. Also comes with a parking space. So even though I don't have a car currently, should I decide to get one soon or whatever, I've got a parking space. I don't have to worry about parking on the street, which is what I had to do with my previous car. And until then, I would just let one of my neighbors use the parking space. The neighbor that I'm thinking about, she was super cool when I first moved here and I did have a car. She let me use one of her permits to park on the street until I was able to get my own permits. So this would be, me paying her back. If I got that unit, got the parking space, I would let her use the parking space until I got a car, free of charge, because why not? So yeah, friends, I'm going to ask that y'all pray for me. Pray that I can get this unit. My landlord, just pray that my landlord's just like, okay. And even if he's just like, well, you got to give us a deposit or whatever. Man, look, I will pay that extra deposit, dude. I will do it. As a matter of fact, and I don't know if this is a California thing, I never experienced this before living in this unit. When my lease was up and, it was time to re-sign or whatever, they increased my rent, a little bit. Fine. But what I also noticed was that because they increased the rent, they also wanted me to put that, that extra amount down with, the deposit, the security deposit. So I'm like, okay. And, I looked it up, I Googled it. It's just like, yeah, that's a thing. Again, that seems to be a California thing. I don't know if that, if that happens in other places. I've never had that happen in any other place. Which is just like, okay, you're going to stay, we're going to raise your rent. But that means, if we raise your rent $50, then, we also need you to give us another $50 to put with the security deposit. I've never had that happen before, but whatever. Happened this time. I'm just saying all that to say, if they're like, well, hey, the apartment's $100 more than what you're paying now. If you give us that 100 as well as the 100 to put with the security deposit, yeah, I'll do it. I'll absolutely do it. I will absolutely fucking do it. So it's been a pretty productive day. Got some writing done. I'm pretty pleased with the pages that I got done. I was actually supposed to go to the movies earlier, but I decided that I did not want to go at that moment. So I canceled my ticket for the Phoenician scheme. Ended up getting a late ticket for the Karate Kid Legends. Gonna go see that in a bit. But right now, just heating up some spaghetti. Made the sauce last night, so I'm just heating up the sauce, and I'm making like fresh noodles for tonight's serving. Because I don't like making spaghetti and then putting like the noodles in the fridge and trying to reheat can reheat the sauce. That's fine. But the noodles, I gotta make them fresh. So, and as far as the apartment, landlord hit me back, was just like, yo, property manager told me that you were interested. He was like, let me know what you want to do before we like actually put the listing out there. I hit his ass right back. I was just like, look, you let me know what we need to do, how we can work this out, because I'm very much interested. So we'll see. I'll probably hear from him tomorrow. He's a cool dude. He's a much older gentleman. I don't know if he's going to call me or email me, but, you know, we seem to do all right. He also included his attorney on the email. Same attorney that I dealt with when I dealt with the previous problem upstairs neighbor. Just praying that this can be done easily, simply. On my way to the theater. It's not really cool outside, but you know, I'm bringing the jacket. It's cool-ish. Might be cool in the theater, so whatever. So you know, in my video where I said my LA life is coming to an end, you know, it's largely because, like I said, I haven't been feeling LA. I don't like LA. It's also because I just not really taking advantage of the city, right? And just what I mean by that is, you know, I'm not going out. I'm going out, I'm hanging out, but like in the same spot. Same joint in Hollywood, seeing the same people, hanging out, you know, with my friends. But there really is a lot to do in LA, and a lot more than, you know, like the nature shit that I was talking about in the video. But look, we'll see. If this apartment actually comes through, like if I can switch this new apartment, maybe my feelings might change. We'll see. Crazy, I think I got the theater to myself.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
Okay. I dug Karate Kid's Legends. You know, it's fun, it's silly, you know, I feel like if you like the original movies, like from the 80s, then you'll like this one. I mean, you know, it's pretty predictable. You know what's gonna happen. You even know how it's gonna happen. But the fun is in watching it happen. Nice little family flick. And like I said, you know, nice little kind of like homage to the original flicks. And, you know, if they make some more, I wouldn't be too mad. Pretty funny in my opinion. Although I'm gonna tell y'all the one thing that always messes me up with movies that are set in New York City. They always like do this thing where they like set scenes like in an alley or whatever. And I'm gonna grab one of these. Nikki, I got something for you. Anyway, they always do like these scenes that's like set in an alley or whatever. New York doesn't have alleys like that. There's more alleys in Los Angeles that look like that than in New York. Have a good one, boss. All right, yeah. And when I see stuff like that, I hate to say it takes me out of the movie, but it's just like, I know y'all are doing that to give it that stereotypical New York kind of look, flavor, vibe, or whatever. And I know there's some people that are gonna be like, oh man, New York has alleys, there's Cortlandt Alley. Look, New York has maybe like 2-3 alleys that look like the way they portray them in movies. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, New York has alleys, but it's not even that many. There's more alleys in Los Angeles than there are in New York, especially the way they portray them in movies and TV shows. And Karate Kid's Legends does that shit. But yeah, before I hit the movies, I was talking about, you know, just like doing more, getting out more, like whatever. And just like even little stupid stuff like this, just like going to the movies. I need to do that more often. Just leave the apartment, get out, do stuff. Although if I do end up moving into the new unit, I might not be doing stuff for a while because I am broke. I went to Memphis recently, spent a little too much money on my Memphis trip. So yeah, if I make this apartment switch, they'll probably eat up like all the little money that I got for the time being, but it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. Just a cool little day off. Shout out to Ferris Bueller. Had a nice little day off. New day, next day, nothing really to report because I haven't really done anything today. Just logged in for work, so doing that. We'll say yesterday after the movie, when I got back home, I had a bit of inspiration, so I got back into my script, Screenwriter's Blues. And I just added just like, a few lines of dialogue, just some things that were funny. But I didn't want to wait until today. It's just like, oh, I had the spark of inspiration on the way home. And part of me was just like, oh, I'll just go to bed. I'll wake up and I'll add this little part tomorrow. But then I was just like, nah, better not do that. Better just go ahead and put it in the script while it's fresh in my mind. That way I won't forget it. I'll still like, when it came to me, it's just like, okay, like I was in that rhythm, if that makes sense. Microwave. And I didn't want to lose that rhythm. I don't know if that makes sense. So yeah, so I just went ahead and just opened up the file, input this like dialogue exchange, maybe added like another page. Good stuff. Good stuff. So they're doing something upstairs. I love my property manager and his helper, assistant, but they just started like, I don't know what they carried upstairs, but then they just started like dropping shit on the floor, and I'm just like, y'all can't be doing that. Here's the other funny thing. Like my property manager, and his assistant, there's some big dudes. And even though they're walking around up there, they're not stomping around, right? It's like I can hear them up there like working, doing whatever they're doing. But as they're walking through the apartment, they're not stomping through like what y'all heard earlier. So this is why I feel justified in how I'm feeling about living underneath this woman, because what the fuck? I know they're wearing heavy ass boots and shit, and they're still not stomping through the apartment. So I really want y'all to hear this. It's like you can tell they're moving something or like whatever. There's no stomping. They're walking around right above me. There's no stomping. That woman is not going to make me feel like I'm taking crazy pills when I talk about this shit. Like I want to say relatively quiet, but there is no relatively. Like they were fucking 1,000% quieter up there, and they were working. Like they were moving shit around. It sounds like they're moving something down the stairs now.
Would you give me a call so that we can discuss the change of apartment for you?
Shit. Okay. So I talked to my landlord earlier. He was just like, look, let's get you in that new apartment. Yeah, he's like, they're gonna draw up the lease. Might get it like tomorrow or the day after at the latest. But he was just like, just sign the lease. Give us, the increase on the security deposit. And that's it. Like, he's going to give me some time to like move out of here. I can take over like he's just like, you can take over the new apartment like as soon as you sign the lease. Like, sign the lease and they'll give you the keys. And he's going to give me time to like move everything out of here, which is great because I'm probably going to have to do this by myself. but it should not be too much of like a mission to move at least the majority of this stuff out of here. But yeah, fam, yeah. We is about to do this. Just did something I shouldn't have done, which is order food from Fatburger. I haven't had Fatburger in a minute, so whatever. I'm hungry. I know I'm supposed to be trying to eat better, exercise more. Fam, I am hungry. So I want some fucking Fatburger. Success! Little celebratory meal here. So yeah, y'all, hopefully, like within the next 2 weeks, I'll be in a new spot. It will not be underneath this loud woman. I'm hoping that this will finally be it. I'm hoping that... I'm just hoping for the best, y'all. I am hoping for the best.
Dedicating time when I really can't afford to be. I'll provide protection if you open up the door for me. Couple stares, couple texts, couple dates, couple I think that we're ready, couple I think we should wait. Are we acting like a couple? I'm just trying to get it straight, cause I'm over here convinced that it's too early for mistakes. And then